How about now? Oh, Felipe, can you hear me? Sorry, guys. Somehow, I don't know whether you guys hear me or not. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Oops. Uh, Felipe, can you please confirm if you can hear me? Sorry for the inconvenience. Surprisingly, I don't know why there's an issue with the mic. I mean, I could able to see this one. Okay. Oh. All right. So looks like issues with only the Philippines or remaining people could able to hear me. Uh, thanks for confirming. All right. So welcome all. So today, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? I can't see where the confirmation somehow. Probably people can type in if they have an option.
Yeah, I think we can see your screen, Siva.
Oh, great, Felipe. Thanks. Okay. All right. So today the agenda is about the Artemis server, the Apache ActiveMQ Artemis. Uh, Thanks everyone for joining. It is it's a This is the agenda today. So we are going to talk about the JMS 2.0 features, how the Apache Artemis is supporting, and how a MuleSoft developer can leverage these new features by showing a demo. What is the difference between, first of all, okay, so these are the people who's coordinating. Thanks, Philip, for coordinating this. And thanks to Priyanka and Fatima if you have joined. All right. So the Apache ActiveMQ Artemis is a new flavor of the ActiveMQ uh, server, the framework, the messaging framework, and it is completely open source. It supports multi protocols. It also supports uh, high availability, a non-blocking architecture. If you see the list of the features, so it's completely open source. It also supports 1.1, 2.0, and the rest of the Jakarta messaging. Uh, it also supports the high availability. And the interesting part is it's everything is written in Java. So what is the difference between the existing Apache ActiveMQ versus the Artemis is the ActiveMQ supports only 1.1 itself. It doesn't support 2.0. Whereas the Apache ActiveMQ Artemis, uh, it is written from scratch to cater the multi-protocols and supports both JMS 1.1 and plus the future versions. All right, so The next one. So some of the features of a JMS 2.0 is delivery delay. What it means is the producer can set message delay delivery of messages. So normally in the pub sub model in the JMS world, the moment the publisher publishes the messages, the subscriber will get immediately. And if there is a use case where you want to set a proper certain messages to deliver in after some time, you can also set using the delay delivery feature. This feature is not available in the ActiveMQ. We have shared subscription feature in the Artemis. That is, the multiple consumers are allowed the same topic subscription. What it means is the multiple subscriptors, uh, as of now, we see a copy of the same message will be shared, will be copied to all the subscribers. But whereas we can set the configuration in such a way that the messages will share. Let's say, for example, out of 10 messages, couple of messages will go the consumer one, and a couple of others will go, rest of them will go to the consumer two. So that kind of feature is also available in the Artemis server. The delivery count, the allows applications to receive a message to determine how many times a message has been delivered. You can also make sure that how many times we can deliver a specific message to the consumers. There are different types of routing types in the Apache Artemis. There is anycast and the multicast. So anycast basically deals with the point-to-point messaging. That's what we have in the current ActiveMQ server, the point-to-point and pub-sub model. But in the point-to-point with the Apache Artemis, there are other features also available, which we'll see now in the coming slides. The multicast is similar to the pub-sub model. All right. So let me just go back here. The point-to-point messaging. So in this scenario, a producer sending a message, and we have one consumer, or one queue, but we have multiple consumers here. So let's take a first scenario, one producer, one consumer. As many number of messages is delivered by the producer, that many number of messages will be consumed immediately. If we have only a single consumer. If there are multiple consumers in the point-to-point messaging, that will be shared. If you see, the message one is here and the message two is here. So the messages will be distributed among the consumers. The next feature is the multiple queues. Oh, sorry. Oops. All right. Okay. So in this scenario, in one single queue, we'll have two queues and two consumers. Like each queue will have one consumer. So this is the topic. Oh, sorry, this is the address. Address will have a Q1 and Q2, and each queue will be consumed by one consumer. So I'll come to this address. See, address is a semantic in the Artemis configuration where you can specify the entry point. And the queues are bucketed to or pointed to this particular address. While consuming, the consumer can specify the entire fully qualified domain name like address.foo : the Q1. That is really helpful when you are when you have multiple addresses. So in this scenario, the messages will be shared here and as well as copied here. Any questions so far? All right. Okay, so now this is a pub sub model. So in this scenario, the topic will have the copy of the same message and it will be delivered to the respective consumers. And this is known for everybody. Most of the people now use, especially the ActiveMQ users. If you're in the MuleSoft world, mostly they'll use the pub/sub model for the reliability pattern. Right. So we discussed about the single point-to-point and point-to-point with multiple messages, and with the topic subscriber topics and as well as consumers. That's a pub/sub model. All right. So what differs the Artemis server versus the ActiveMQ? So ActiveMQ Artemis server supports multiple protocols that includes the MQTT, AMQ, and a lot of other protocols, which we'll see here. It supports different clients. You can use OpenWire, MQTT, Stomp, 100Q, and the core protocols. See, the Artemis is actually developed by keeping message-oriented middleware, MOM concept. So it also supports the wildcard addressing. Instead of mentioning multiple queue names, you can define them with the # as an address. The consumers can have a different name, but with the prefix what is mentioned in the address. So here, q.email.pound. So the consumers can be n number of consumers, making sure the queue name should have a prefix, the q.email. It could be contractors, it could be FT. Let's say if you want to send an email to contractors separately, FT separately, at different countries also separately, you can mention here. It supports filter options. You can specify either XPath or string expressions. It gives the flexibility to auto create queues. You no need to configure manually. Instead, you can add a name in the Mule JMS connector that will be get created when you deploy the application, or when the Mule application starts connecting to the broker. So we have an option to delete, disable. You can also have a temporary queues. So as I mentioned earlier, we can specify the FQDN name for the better readability. Oh, by the way, it also supports shared, non-shared. It means if you want to restrict only a couple of consumers or only two consumers, there are only one consumer, to make sure that no non-authorized or authorized applications get created, the number of queues or get access those queues, you can still restrict them. So these are the protocols currently supports by the an Artemis. I think it's covered most of them. The AMQP, we can have uh, these queues can be accessed or produced, or the messages can be consumed using .NET clients or JavaScript, and as well as the Artemis has its own core protocol, which is much more flexible than the current ActiveMQ in terms of performance, in terms of HA. All right. So before we move to demo, any questions so far? I don't see anything in the chat window. Probably Felipe might be. Felipe, do you see any questions?
No, no questions so far.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's move to the demo. So currently we have 2.19.1 version. And of course, 2.20 version is also there, but that's more of a JDK 11 compatibility. So today I'm going to show the demo with the 2.19 point version. All right. Can you all see my screen? Is it legible? All right. Assuming everything is okay, I'll go here. So I've installed the Apache Artemis 2.19.1 and I am in, okay, I'll go back here. So when I unzip the files, they'll have this structure: web, schema, license, libraries, examples, bin. The examples folder really gives you a lot of sample code, uh, how to using Spring Beans, Spring Boot, .NET clients, how to fix HA availability. Everything is available. All right. So the first thing is we need to create a broker. Okay. So let me go back here and bin. So I already have my broker one, but I'll create another one here. Command is Artemis create broker name. So new broker, enter. So I'll just go with admin, default passwords. For the time being, I'll just say yes. All right. Am I running my broker now? Okay. Oh, great. That's all. So we have just created a new broker. All right. So it's showing some commands how to run a new broker so that it is accessible to consume. So let's go back here. New broker and see what do we have. We have log, tmp, lib, bin, data, etc. All right, so all the configuration is under etc folder. Okay, so let me just open the etc folder. All right. So I'm trying to open the folder. Oops, what is that? Okay, so it's in Artemis. We have for Bain. The broker is new broker. All right. I don't know why it is so slow, interestingly. All right. Come on. Yeah, there you go. So the broker configuration, if you see if you expand it is a folder. You have roles. Let's go one by one. So we have admin role. You can define the user roles here, and the properties, what are the password of entered that is encrypted, and the profile of the Artemis, all the configuration, where the Artemis instance is located, where is the data directory is there, and everything is mentioned here. You can specify the arguments, memory arguments, to give high availability, high performance features as well. Yeah, and this is a bootstrap. This gives us the web feature. It is localhost 8161. So let's go back here. So we just created one broker, right? A new broker. So let's go back here and right. Okay. Okay. Click enter. Ah, okay. We did not start the server. Okay. So good thing. Right. So let's quickly run, then we'll go back how we can start the broker. And broker.xml contains the list of configurations like your queue configuration, topic configurations, anycast, multicast, all those details will be configured here. So as I mentioned, there are two ways to create queues and topics here. One is through configuration by adding the specific semantics in the broker.xml, or it will also allow us to auto create. So we'll revisit once we start the server. So this is the acceptor name at which the host and port user can send them messages or create a queues so that people can exchange the messages. So it's the Artemis server, AMQP server, by default Storm, Hornet Queue, and MQTT also. And these are the security settings by default for everything. It is assigned the role AMQ by default, and it will allow us to create non-durable queues. It allows to create delete options, consume, browse, and etc. Yeah, so this is the DLQ settings. You can create a DLQ settings. You can specify what is the page size and redelivery delay, which we discussed earlier, which we're going to see in the demo very soon. So these are all the settings. Okay, so here we can mention or we can specify the different types of queues. So each queue will be enclosed within the address tag, addresses. So each address name is mentioned here. Either it could be any cast or it could be a multicast. So multicast in terms of pub sub model, right? And these are some other configurations. So let's go back to the how we can start the broker. Okay, so where are we right now? So here in the new broker, let's go back to bin, and let's see, we have Artemis and Artemis servers. So you can run Artemis as an independent command, or you can also run as a service. So in the interest of looking the logs and everything, I'm going to start the Artemis as individual instance instead of service, and just run. That's it. All right. All right, great. That's it. If you see here, the acceptors 61616, where it will allow the open wire, all these protocols, we'll be using this particular Artemis connection to send or to exchange the messages. And if you want to see the web console, this is the place. Let's see here. Let's use this link. Okay, now there you go. All right. Ah, all right. So admin, I'll just put it to not enter multiple times. All right. Okay. Or not. That's fine. Ah, there you go. All right. This is the web console where it has all the access, connection access, the producers, consumers, addresses, etc. Let's see what addresses we have right now. So by default, when we create a new broker, we'll come up with a DLQ, expiry queue, ActiveMQ notifications. These are by default, comes with the new broker. So if you see the broker.xml, the DLQ, expired queue, which is showing up here. All right. So ActiveMQ notifications, it will be automatically get created. All right. And these are the addresses, and these are the queues, two queues. And we can go through the attributes of each queue. We can delete, we can purge the queue messages if you don't want. So here, okay, what kind of acceptors do we have? And what are the addresses? We can go through each address and then dig into and play around it. It also shows the memory diagnostics. So class, histogram, a lot of details, the heap details, how many threads, how much memory we have used so far, what is the start time, etc. All right, so let's use this particular broker and see how we can uh, consume and produce the messages or publish the messages using Mule. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see the consumer. Okay. Any questions so far?
Yeah, not for now.
All right. Cool. Okay. So in the interest of everybody, I'm going to create the queues manually. When I say manually, by it means by adding the configuration in the Bootstrap XML. Okay. So currently, let's go back here. So we only have queues, default queues. Okay. So I'm going to create. All right. So a couple of queues. Hang on. So all right. So I'll just minimize this. Okay, in the bootstrap.xml, I'll just add a new queue, simple queue. Address name, it's a simple queue, and I'm using anycast. So anycast is semantic for the point-to-point messaging in the Artemis. All right. So I did not save so far, and I want to show. Oops, okay, sorry. I want to show the server as well, side by side. So the moment I save it, is it because of the Zoom? It's taking so much time. It's, right. Did I save it? Okay. So let's refresh here. Let's see. We have the queues got created. The simple queue. No. Interesting. Oh, you know what? This is wrong. Oh, we are creating it itself. Save. Ah, there you go. Okay. Looks like I did not save properly. So simple queue. What is the address for this? It's a simple queue. It's a point to point, right? Okay. So let's go back the Mule Studio. Okay. So first of all, to have the um, to access the Artemis server, there are separate libraries apart from the ActiveMQ. This is the Apache Artemis 2.19.1. Will be as part of the POM dependency. I just now commented to make sure the other clients are also available. So for the time being, we are going only with the Artemis access. So this is the only library we need. That's it. The next thing is I have created a connection factory. So I created a Spring Bean. I'm using exclusively the Artemis ActiveMQ connection factory. That's it. I'm using JMS .host and JMS .port. So if I see the, if I show you the, okay, so where is the host and port? Okay, so the JMS.
Hey, Siva, pretty quick. I have a question from Joe. Hopefully, I
Yes.
pronounced the name correctly. So, can the queue be created on any point studio?
Yes. Uh, as I said, there are two ways. Either you can create using configuration, or you can directly just add the queue name and just deploy it. The moment it starts pumping the messages with that particular broker, automatically the queue gets created.
So, can the queue be created for either way if you are consuming and producing, or only when you are pushing messages?
Uh, okay, good question. I think while consuming itself, we can create. Let's give a try. Mostly I tried with the producing itself. So, okay, so it is pointing, and we'll see that one. So the configuration, I'm pointing to the config.yaml, which is pointing to 61616 port. All right. So in the producer, I am using a simple queue, just the name of the queue, which I've mentioned in the broker. That's all. And the configuration, it is same as ActiveMQ. We're just pointing only to the JMS 2.0 specification here. That's it. So what about the, okay, so here I'm pointing to my connection, ActiveMQ connection factory. And this is a specification. Any questions so far?
Yeah. One more question from Gaurav. How can we create a temporary queue?
You can mention as part of the configuration, broker.xml, there is settings you can specify as a temporary queue. But how can we know that? How can we create the temporary queue? Is by adding as a, by default, when you specify uh, as, the prefix, Artemis will create a UUID temporary queue name as the, that will be lost only for that particular duration. All right, so let me just run this one. So there is no consumer, only the producer right now. We want to see whether we receive the messages or not. I'm wondering why it is slow. Is it because of no disturbed options, or is it because of the Zoom? Hmm, interesting. All right, so let's assume that, oops, what happened? All right, okay, hang on. it's weird that these kind of issues will come only when you show the demo. All right, we have a lot to go. Come on, Mule. What's happening? I am not. Okay. Oops. Interesting. Okay. All right. Hmm. All right. Sorry about that. Interestingly, I don't know why it's stopping. Okay. Right. Okay. So, all right. It's coming up. Oh. All right. Okay. Okay.
So in the meantime, there are a couple of questions. One from
Yes, please.
Dora.
Yeah.
So how expiration time of the TMQ is decided?
Uh, we can set that one at the time of creation. So let me show you the configuration. Uh, so in the broker.xml, we can set all these settings. Okay. All right.
So
So
basically, in the broker XML, you define the TTL for the queue in seconds or something like that. And if you don't receive or send any messages, the queue is removed.
well, yeah, the TTL is more of now how long it's going to stay in the particular broker if no consumers access. Yeah, so that also can be done. There are a couple of options available in the settings. So if you see this one here, the namespace and the address settings you can mention here. Um, but the time settings probably we need to dig into more options that we'll see the list of configuration settings. Let me find out that one. Okay, so looks like this guy is here. So let me run this. Okay. I'm not sure why it is such a slow today, especially in the demo.
So also in the meantime, one more question from Sujatha. So
Yeah.
how to configure Spring Bean? Is it just by placing it in resource folder or any special configuration required?
Or just simple, just placing that in the resource folder, that should be enough.
So the placeholders go into the resources folder.
Right.
Okay. One more from Ashanafi. So what broker URL are you using? The structure of the browser you're using looks different than the regular ActiveMQ local URL.
Yeah. So if you see the Artemis is pointing to 0.0.0.0, which is nothing but the local host. Oops. Okay. Yeah. This is the address I'm using.
So maybe Studio doesn't want to work after 5.
Oh, it is. I've seen these kind of issues, especially with the Zoom uh, uh, in the earlier meetups. Also, I didn't expect that that will also happen to this meetup. Uh, any suggestions? Is it because I just put as a no disturb option, or do I need to log in back again? Okay, it's 92. Come on, come on. What? What's happening? Okay. Okay, hang on. So let me just run in my other screen and see. Oops. All right, it is starting in another window. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Come on, come on, come on. We are running out of time.
I see, but do you mind sharing your browser where you see the ActiveMQ console?
Yes, I actually moved that into another window, my Mule Studio. So looks like it is moving a little bit faster. So once if I see it is running, then I'll move that to the sharing window.
Ah, okay, okay.
All right, just shoot out the questions if you have any in the meantime.
Yeah, I think we still have the question around the URL because it looks a little bit different on the browser window.
Oh, the browser window is a web console. That's not the that's a netty. Okay, the Artemis server is built on the not built. It uses the netty web console. Um, so that's the reason we are using 8161 for the web console. But for the JMS messaging, we'll be using this.
And what's the URL to look at the web console?
Okay.
I think
Let
the
me
one that wants.
yes, it's 8161.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's localhost.
Yeah, localhost 8161. So if you see the bootstrap, somehow I'm getting the VM issue. It's really weird. Uh, it's gone. JVM process is gone. I don't understand why. Okay, it was working before the interesting. Okay, so let me just why is it did not JVM did not exit? Termination required. JVM is disabled. Why? Huh? All right. Okay. Sorry. So this is the bootstrap. Yeah. So if you see this web is binding to this particular path. So to access the all the broker details, the queue details using this particular web console, you can also add these things to the Tomcat or any of the app server or the web server. All right, I am having. All right, so let me run one more time. If not all, no, it doesn't run probably, and I'll go through the code. So the interesting part is you can also send the messages using a REST console, a REST API. So Artemis also supports to publish the messages using a REST endpoint. I don't know why it is coming up.
One more question from Gaurav. How can
Yeah.
we set up the FT mode in case of ActiveMQ Artemis?
In which mode, please? FT mode?
FT? Yep.
What do you mean by FT?
So what is FT, Gaurav? Oh, fault tolerance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so there are a lot of options are available within the broker XML. You can set the configuration for the high availability as well as failover features. That will cover in the next session, possibly. I am trying to see why the studio is actually breaking down. This is really weird. If anybody has any suggestion, just let me know. In the meantime, I'll just Google it. What's wrong with the studio? All right, so
Yeah, you haven't seen that before, but that's fine. I mean, I think it was great that we had a chance to go through the product itself.
I can
Uh,
show the remaining no, the any point. Sorry, remaining the multicast options. Um, okay, so
yeah, sure,
pause
that would be great.
ins. The pipe is configured. Okay, ultimate. Okay, the solution is okay. Wrapper background at height. Okay. Ah. Oh, the pipe size. The please check the service lines. Okay, wrapper dot background. Okay. Ah. All right. Okay. So yeah, it looks like this is common. I'm surprised. Yeah. And in Mac, I don't know why this guy. Okay, I'll fix this. So .xml. All right. So this is the multicast. All right. Okay. Oops. All right. So this is the Anycast, simple point to point. The multicast will be mentioned like this. The topic name is employee.topic, and the queue names are hr.q, finance.q. So two consumers will be consuming with the same topic. The same messages will be sent to these two queues. Whereas in the shared queue, though it is similar to the simple queue, it uses the Anycast, but the consumers will be multiple consumers. If see the code, okay, right, so, right, okay, all right, okay. I really hate this. Amen. Okay, so we have employee topic. We need to plan another session, Felipe. This is really, really slow. This is Zoom is really bothering me. I don't know why.
Yeah, no worries at all. I think it would be nice just to wrap up because we
Yeah,
know and understand that the demos sometimes can
yeah.
fail.
So I would like to wrap up with one thing. So the delay feature, which is very interesting. Okay, so we can set the delay option. Uh, so here, let's say, for example, I want to see the terminated employees. Okay, but I want to process them after a couple of minutes instead of the regular queues. I can set that settings. Come on. Sorry. All right, let's stop this. I mean, it's really killing. All right, I just want to show you just one thing before we just, okay. Priority, come on. Why it is not coming down? Come on. Oops. Okay, so delay, if you set for 3 minutes, that particular, the DLQ messages will be sent to the consumers after 3 minutes of the consumers up and running, or the message, sorry, let me rephrase, the message will be sent after 3 minutes once it reaches the broker. Of course, if the consumers are not there, okay, the messages are still stored in the message broker. All right, that's all, Felipe. I think it is really, not cooperating us. Uh, we will plan probably in next session. Sorry
Yeah,
about
no,
that. Apologies.
we understand. So something that I can compliment on this is that I saw the demo. That's why I'm not worried about seeing this working, because I saw this like a few days ago. So this is pretty cool because, for instance, redelivering a message, it is pretty useful, but there's a flow in that process. So if you retry in a system that is down and you know that it's going to be down for a certain time. So for instance, let's say workday is down on Friday night until Saturday morning or something like that. So if you know in advance that the system is not going to be available, so you can include this feature in your integration, so you can deliver the message after quite some time, which is great because you don't need to worry about like persisting it anywhere else, because the queues by nature are designed to retry immediately, right? So you
Yes,
that, and I think that I don't remember, but you also showed me, right, Siva, that you can put even cron expressions for the delivery. It's not only like a certain time, but you can also add like complex expressions there to try to
absolutely.
deliver after quite some time.
Yes,
So I think that it is something that might be cool for the next session, because I mean this is part one. So the idea is to take a look at more features from Artemis. So which I would say it is more like a ActiveMQ with steroids.
yeah, I'm pretty excited now. As like you, it has a lot of features and is much more, elegant and much more powerful than the ActiveMQ. It's uh, pretty good features.
Yeah, awesome.
Any questions?
So yeah, any questions?
Sorry about that demo. Somehow, it is not helping me out. I've been, uh, saving this project since a week to show you guys. Unfortunately, it is not supporting me somehow today.
No, I think it would be great. I mean, for part two, if you can run the demo, so we'll have more time to figure this out, or maybe to record the screen so we can see how it works.
Yes,
I mean, part
absolutely.
two is
And
going to be time to do.
yeah, probably before showcasing to the bigger audience, let's try to run from our end. Is something wrong with the, Zoom is actually capturing the entire memory? I don't know. It
Yeah.
we'll give it a try before we show socializing the message.
Yep, cool, cool. Do you have a preview of part number two? What would you talk about?
Okay, so possibly the high availability and failover.
Okay, great.
So there is one catch we are trying to address, or we are trying to figure it out. The SSL connectivity. The broker
Okay.
side is working fine, but somehow the Mule uh, JMS connector is unable to uh, get a handshake. So that also kind of challenging right now. So we are looking for different possibilities. We'll let you know if it is successful.
Yep. Cool, cool. Makes sense. So next session is scheduled to be on March 17th, just to discuss part number two, some more features of the product, and we will run the demo. Um, I mean, and after that session, this is when we will have the trivia, so we can like give away some vouchers for certifications or classes. So if there are no other questions, I think we can call it a day. Thank you so much, Siva. I think this is very valuable. I have a comment from Sujata. This is a great topic. Thanks for sharing the info. So hopefully for the part two, we can also share the source code of the demo and also some documentation around Artemis and how you can install it and make some basic configuration.
Yeah, sure. Much, thanks, everyone. Thanks, Felipe, for organizing. And we have actually. All right.
No worries at
Hi,
all.
in the chat window. We can. You guys can contact us. Twitter handles. We also run by Felipe. Please join your experiences. It would be great.
Yeah, no worries. We'll be sharing the information soon. So yeah, no quiz today. So we will have the quiz at the end of the part two of this session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so. Thank you so much for everyone. Yeah.